Okay, hi. This is your showing Sherpa and or Guru Shauna, and welcome to, what are we doing? Sew Lunchables. And today, our the foot of the day today is going to be the blind hem foot. And I have done a blind hem tutorial somewhere in one of these videos on YouTube, but I'm gonna do it again as part of this foot series. And also, heads up, this is going to be the last time we do a Sew Lunchables. I mean, I might do one next week, but I don't know. I'm going to be switching to a new format. I'm going to be doing some alterations and resizing of clothing for my weekly videos. I think that there's plenty of sewing videos out there on YouTube for the feet, and I think I've hit all the majors. There's a lot of other ones, but I think the majors, I've gotten them. I mean, if I have any requests for some certain feet, I will certainly do it again. So, that being said, we're going to do a blind hem. Now, unfortunately, I cannot find the owner's manual for this machine. And like I say in our stitch by stitch class, the most important thing to have with your sewing machine is the owner's manual, because on everybody's sewing machine, the stitches are going to be slightly different, the feet are going to be slightly different, your settings are going to be slightly different, and the thing that's going to tell you which one is the right one is going to be your owner's manual. So I've done a ton of blind hems, and I'm looking at this, and I looked at, so I know 6 and 7 and 8 are the overlock stitches because we did those last week. And if you notice, when the needle goes over, it's like titching to the right. And I know that for the blind hem, it goes the opposite way of the overlock stitch. So the only one that's going the overlock, the opposite way that I can see is stitch 9. So I'm guessing stitch 9 is our blind hem stitch. But before we go any further, I want to just kind of illustrate like what is a hem, because I have people coming in here all the time saying, you know, like I want to learn how to do that seam, you know, that's at the bottom of a pant or something. That is a hem. If it's on the bottom of something like a shirt or a dress or a pair of pants, it is called a hem. So this particular dress that I'm wearing has got a faced hem. If you notice, there's a seam right here, and it has a separate piece of fabric sewn to it, and that's because it's got a really strong curve, and the best kind of hem for a strong curved hem is to face it with something that's just as curved. So this is a faced hem. There's all sorts of hems that you can do out there. The standard is just a roll hem. So I'm gonna show you a roll hem. Now we did a micro rolled hem. Was that the last one or the one before? Anyways, doesn't matter. Rolled hem, typically what you're gonna see is you're gonna see a 1/4 of an inch clean finish, and then however deep your hem is gonna be folded back. So this is your typical hem. I don't know how deep that is. I'm guessing it's about 1 inch. Doesn't matter. Normal stitch length. Of course, I'm going to back tack, and I'm gonna be sewing really close to this outside folded edge. All right, so as you can see here, you have got a clean edge here because it's been folded under a 1/4 of an inch, and then you've got this hem depth here, and on the inside you're going to see this rolled hem, and on the outside you're just going to see a straight stitch going along, and that's what's holding all of this stuff in place. So with a blind hem, you're going to have the same sort of a start. You're going to have, you know, blind hems, you oftentimes see them on like suit pants. You'll see them on really nice dresses. The idea is that you're not going to see the hem at all. You're not going to see this stitch going along here. It's going to be invisible. Now the stuff that the machine that they use in the garment industry, I think it was originally made by the Merrow company, but it has like this curved needle, and it comes up and the needle goes halfway through the fabric. It's like really, really technical. In the home sewing industry, we just have a special stitch, and we actually go all the way through the outside layer. So you will see a little titch of a thread on the outside. It's inevitable, you have to see that. Unless you have a really thick fabric and you've calibrated everything correctly. So I'm gonna still need to have that first 1/4 of an inch either pressed under or sewn under. Now I have not pressed it under, so I'm just gonna kind of what I call finger press it. And sometimes cottons will respond well to finger pressing. You just put a little bit of pressure on and then friction. So I've got that under my first roll, and then I've got my second roll. And instead of putting it underneath the foot like this, it's so funny. So you just, this is where the hard part comes. You actually flip it back over. And see, this is that 1/4 inch there. So I need to have this covering that 1/4 inch, but not all the way up to the edge because I need room to sew. So then I'm going to choose that stitch number 9, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's saying use foot R. Ew, I chose the right foot. But I'm first gonna do this without the foot, just so you can see what it's like. So without the foot, I put this under here and it sews on that first folded edge and then it titches over to the left. Oops. And I need to be sure that I'm catching that on the left. And we have someone at the door, which makes this really awkward. So you can go ahead and just open the door and tell them we're filming right now. And okay, we have plenty of time, 7 minutes left. All right, so I'm titching over. So get in real close and see this. So you see that I'm well, this is over on the left side. It's folding on that 1/4 inch. And then on the right side, I get right and left mixed up. And then on the left side, I'm gonna see if I can hand wheel it through. It's catching that fold. And the closer the needle gets to that fold, the smaller the stitch will look on the outside. So that one went pretty deep. The one before it was really shallow. All right, so that's with your normal presser foot. So yes, you can do this with a normal presser foot. In fact, pretty much all these stitches you can do with a normal presser foot except for your buttonhole, just because it respects your, anyways. So that's what it looks on this side. You can see right here, I completely missed with a couple of these stitches. And on the other side, so I flipped the hem up, and on the other side, you're like, whoa, check that out. There's no straight line, right? There's like a little titch, and you can see right there, that's perfect. That's really how much of the thread you want to see on the outside. So if I look on this side, and I flip it back out, how close was it to that fold? It literally lands like right on that fold, and that makes it look perfect. That is so hard to do. I only hit it like that once, maybe twice. So that's with your normal foot. So I'm gonna now put on the foot that goes for the blind hem. Now the blind hem foot looks an awful lot like the overlock foot. So this is the overlock foot that we used last time, and this is the blind hem foot. And the difference is the overlock foot has the guide on the right-hand side, and on this one, it's got the guide on the left-hand side. This one does have this wire going back that it's gonna titch over. Some of them don't, like this one right here, this one that came from my cheap Chinese kit just has the guide. It doesn't have this little bumpy thing. Anyways, bumpy thing, it's a technical term. Ow! Got it. All right, so I have that 1/4 inch. I have my, however deep my hem is gonna be. I'm flipping it back out. I'm putting this under. I've got it in stitch 9 still. And the idea is that this foot, because it has that guide, whoa, too close. That guide is going to help you get closer to the fold if you're doing everything correctly. And I, as usual, never do anything correctly. So this guide, you can see, this guide right here is going right along this fold. And so if I keep that right along the fold, I am theoretically going to get my best, whoa, I went too far over because I was thinking and sewing at the same time, which we know doesn't work. All right, so let's see what happened on the other side. On the other side, I didn't catch a ton of these. So it really wasn't going quite deep enough. The guide was helping me, but it was, I think maybe I need to increase my width slightly, or maybe, when it goes over to the left, let me think about that. When it goes over to the left, or is that the right? All right, so I'm gonna get another hem over here, flip it open. Yeah, I have a friend, Antoinette. hi Antoinette, if you ever see this, who, you know, she's pretty petite, so she has to hem everything, and she does all her blind hemming without this special presser foot. She says, I've just gotten so used to it, I just go really fast without it. So the idea is I'm sewing here, and it's got to titch over to the left, and it's got to catch that. So now it is. Barely, which is what we want. We want it to barely catch it. So I'm just watching that needle and making sure when it goes on the inside stroke that it's catching that little fold. All right. Let's see if we did any better this time. Yeah, it looks like it caught it, and all these little inside titches are really great. So, you know, I feel like this, it looks good, but I feel like when I look at industrial ones that those are a little bit further apart. So if I want these titches to be a little bit further apart, what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to increase the length. It won't let me go above 3.5, but if I go up to, which is computerized machines, they do that. They have rules. So that would separate these so they're not quite as close together. I don't think they really need to be quite as close together, but that, in a nutshell, is a blind hem. Not an invisible hem. Invisible is for zippers. So any questions? Yeah, well, it was really nice having you here for the Sew Lunchables, and catch all our, subscribe and all that stuff on YouTube, because all of our archives are up there. And if you have any feet that you want me to do in the future, just let me know, and I will put it in for a random Lunchable one day. Have a great week.